this video is trigonometry part 1. So the first problem that we have is given sine A is equal to 12 over 13, find cosine A and tangent A, knowing that A is greater than 0 and less than 90. So first let's look at this parameter. This parameter means that A is located in quadrant 1. So the first thing that I would do is actually draw out your coordinate plane, and I would draw just a triangle to begin in quadrant 1. And this would be your theta. Okay, or in this case, we'll do an A. So we know that sine A is 12 over 13. So sine, remember, if you remember the acronym SOHCAHTOA, we know that sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine will be 12 over 13. Knowing our triangles, we would know that this would give us a 5, 12, 13 triangle. And we want to now figure out what cosine is. Cosine A is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that would be 5 over 13. And tangent A is equal to opposite over adjacent, so that would be 12 over 5. So this is all we would do for this one, knowing that we have an angle in quadrant 1. Okay, for the next equation, we know that tangent theta is equal to -2. We want to find cosine and sine theta, and we know that tangent is located, or theta is greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 180. That means that it's in the first 2 quadrants. We know that tangent is negative. Everything is positive in our first quadrant. So an acronym to remember this is all students take calculus. So quadrant 1, all angles are positive. Quadrant 2, only sine is positive. Quadrant 3, only tangent is positive. And quadrant 4, only cosine is positive. So since we have a triangle that's located in either quadrant 1 or 2, we know that tangent is negative, so it has to be located in quadrant 2. So let's go ahead and draw out our triangle. Label this as theta. And so we know that our tangent of theta is -√2. So tangent is opposite over adjacent, meaning that opposite of our angle, we'd have -√2, and then adjacent to our angle, we would have 1. And then we want to solve for what our hypotenuse would be. So we'd have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which, as we know, is our Pythagorean theorem. In this case, we'll say a is 1, so 1 squared plus -√2 squared is equal to c squared. So we'd have 1 plus 2 is equal to c squared. So c is equal to square root of 3. So our hypotenuse is the square root of 3. So the next thing we want to do is figure out what cosine theta is equal to. So cosine theta, as we know using SOHCAHTOA, is adjacent over hypotenuse. So it would be 1 over the square root of 3. However, we know that we're in quadrant 2, so cosine has to be negative. Our sine is our opposite over hypotenuse, so it would be √2 over 3. And we know that our sine actually has to be positive in quadrant 2, so it would just be √2 over √3. Sorry. Okay, and that would be your final answer. If you wanted to rationalize these denominators, you would get -√3 over 3 and √6 over 3. Okay, the next equation is given that theta is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 2 pi, solve the equation sine of 2 theta equals 1/2. So the way that I would do this is I would actually change what our interval that we've been given is. So instead of this being pi, I would change it to 2 pi. Whatever you do to one part of this, you have to do to everything so that the relationship remains equivalent. So if I multiply theta by 2, that means I have to multiply 2 pi by 2 and 0 by 2. So our new interval is 2 theta, is greater than 0 and less than or equal to 4 pi. So now we just want to solve for where we want to solve for 2 theta. So that means that looking at the unit circle, we would get that we would need to find all of the places between 0 and 4 pi where sine is equal to 1/2. So all of these places would be 2 theta is equal to pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 13 pi over 6, and 17 pi over 6. So you see these are all of the places where sine is equal to 1/2, but that's for when we're looking at the angle 2 theta. So now we need to divide everything by 2 to get the angle theta. So we'll have theta is equal to pi over 12, 5 pi over 12, 13 pi over 12, and 17 pi over 12. And that is our final answer. So our next equation is, given that theta is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 2 pi, find the maximum and minimum values of y equals negative cosine theta minus sine theta plus 3, and state the corresponding values of pi. So as we discussed in our differentiation and other earlier lessons, we know that in order to find the minimum and maximum values of a function, we have to take the first derivative. So the first derivative of our given equation is 2 cosine theta sine theta minus cosine theta equals 0. Factor out the cosine theta, and we'd say 2 sine theta minus 1 equals 0. So set both these equal to 0. We'd have cosine theta is equal to 0, and 2 sine theta minus 1 is equal to 0. So sine theta is equal to 1/2, and we have cosine theta is equal to 0. So solving this, we would have pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, and then solving sine theta equals 1/2, we would have pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. So now that we have all of our roots, or our roots of our derivative, which are our critical points, we want to plug all of those back into our original equation and figure out what the minimum and maximum are. So remember, we also want to include the bounds of our domain. So we'll do f of 0, f of pi over 2, f of pi over 6, f of 3 pi over 2, f of 5 pi over 6, and f of 2 pi. So you can plug all of these in on your own, but I will tell you f of 0 is 2, f of pi over 2 is 2, f of pi over 6 is negative 7 over 4. F of 3 pi over 2 is 4. F of 5 pi over 6 is negative 7 over 4. And f of 2 pi is equal to 2. So that means that our maximum is 4 at x equals 3 pi over 2. Or let's say theta to keep our variables consistent. So theta equals 3 pi over 2. And the minimum is negative 7 over 4 at theta equals pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. Okay, so remember this is exactly the same as solving regular polynomials for their maximum and minimum. The only difference here is that you have to remember your trig derivatives. Okay, the next couple equations that we're going to do are kind of putting together many different elements of trig. So the first one is going to be let alpha be greater than 0 and less than pi over 2, and beta be greater than pi over 2 and less than pi. So we want to find sine of alpha plus beta when sine of alpha is 4 over 5 and sine of beta is 12 over 13. So the first thing that we want to do is remember one of our special trig equations. So sine of alpha plus beta is going to be equal to sine of alpha times cosine of beta plus cosine of alpha times sine of beta. And now all we have to do is plug in. So we know that sine of alpha, or the alpha is located in quadrant 1. So we can draw alpha, and we know that sine is 4/5, meaning that our adjacent side is 3. Also, we know that beta is located in quadrant 2. So we could draw a little triangle for that, and we know the adjacent over hypotenuse is 12 over 13, meaning that our missing opposite side is 5. So sine of alpha, we were already given, is 4 over 5. Cosine of beta, using our triangle, is going to be 5 over 13. Except we know that we're in the second quadrant, so it's going to be negative 5 over 13 because cosine is negative in the second quadrant. Plus, cosine of alpha is going to be 3/5, using that triangle that we drew. And sine of beta, we were already given, is 12 over 13. So once we simplify all of this, we would get our final answer is 16 over 65. So that's the value of sine of alpha plus beta. All right, the next equation is let alpha be greater than be greater than pi and less than 3 pi over 2, and to find the value of alpha over 2 when sine alpha is equal to negative root 5 over 3. So the first thing that we want to identify is that we are dealing with quadrant 3 here, just based off of the domain that we were given. So what we can do from this, we know that we're in quadrant 3, so we can go ahead and first just draw our triangle. We draw our mini coordinate plane. We would have this as alpha, as you can see here, if this is alpha, then we have, we know that sine of alpha is negative root 5 over 3. So we would say opposite over hypotenuse. So negative root 5 over 3. And then our missing angle, we would need to use Pythagorean theorem, but we would end up discovering that our missing side is equal to 2. So our adjacent side is equal to 2. So we want to figure out what cosine theta of 2 is equal to. So the first thing that we can say is that we know using our different trig formulas, we know that cosine squared of alpha over 2 is equal to 1 plus cosine alpha, and this is one of our half angle formulas, divided by 2. So if we wanted to just solve for cosine alpha over 2, it's equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine alpha over 2. And this is probably the version of the half angle formula that you're used to seeing. So now all we have to do is plug in what we know. So plus or minus 1 plus cosine of alpha is negative 2 over 3 divided by 2. We would get that our final answer is equal to plus or minus root 6 over 6. However, we know that cosine has to actually be negative because we're in quadrant 3. So our only answer is negative root 6 over 6. So in cases like this, always make sure that your answer fits within your domain that you've been given, because though yes, we did get 2 solutions, we know that we have an extraneous solution in the positive form because it does not fulfill what we have been asked within the domain that we were given. So hopefully this makes sense. I would encourage you to review more special angle formulas, whether those are half angles or double angles, as well as like sine A plus B, sine A minus B, things like that. And familiarize yourself with using those, interconverting between different forms, recognizing different relationships, and just solving these problems. Whenever you're given a trig problem, I would always recommend that if possible, you draw out your triangle in your coordinate plane just so that it's easier to visualize. Hopefully this makes sense.